Not the crowd louder.
Yo, what up, South Florida? Hell yeah. I do apologize in advance if I fuck this up, y'all. I'm stoned as shit. I'm twice as stoned as a Palestinian bitch who steps out of line. But yeah, I've always considered South Florida pretty much to be Auschwitz territory. It's a breeding ground for Jews who are prepared to die. Yeah, that's alright, don't worry, I'm Jewish, I can say that shit. I'm also German, which makes me proud to say that shit. But yeah, as a fucking Jew, whenever I go to the gym, I never use a fucking sauna. That shit feels like being in a fucking gas chamber. I also hate being in a fucking gym locker room around so many naked dudes. And that's not because I'm a homophobe, but half the time I'm really fucking envious of most of the dudes in the room. Don't get me wrong, my dick's huge, but it's crooked as fuck. Seriously, any chick who sees my dick, the bitch instantly turns into the fucking Joker. So anybody here a 80s baby, but 90s child like myself? Hell fucking yeah, you remember the days entertainment didn't suck balls. The days hip-hop was actually fucking hip-hop. Nowadays, not only are the lyrics retarded as shit, the names are even more retarded. I mean, seriously, Lil Baby's the least inspired shit I've ever fucking heard. And even worse, Lil Dicky. I mean, seriously, the dude fucking named himself after his tiny dick. I mean, that's like if a fucking breast cancer patient becomes an MC and she names herself Barely A Cup. I actually recently fucked a cancer patient, and right before we fucked, I told her I really hope the carpets match the drapes. I'm all about that shaven pussy. Speaking of fucking, the ones I've always envied most when it comes to sex are blind guys. I mean, because blind guys are never fucking picky. To them, pussy's literally as good as they make it out to be. They can't tell the difference between a 20-year-old hot young college pussy and 80-year-old type 2 no-teeth diabetic pussy from a chick who can barely speak. I mean, they can fuck a chick like that, and for all they know, they are fucking a hot 18-year-old who gives amazing head where she doesn't use much teeth, and she actually knows how to shut the fuck up in bed. Speaking of which, that has to be the only positive thing about states like Mississippi and Alabama. I'm sure the chicks in those fucking states give amazing blowjobs. They never use much teeth. Well, I'm the only one familiar with American culture. I mean, I guess we are in South Florida. Wouldn't expect people here to know shit about America. But speaking of which, going back to the 90s, anybody watch that Michael Jackson documentary, Leaving Neverland? Yeah, you know, I do feel really bad for the kids that he molested, but I honestly feel a lot worse for the kids who met him who he didn't molest. Imagine how fucking insecure they must feel. I mean, MJ wasn't picky at all, so if you were a little boy at the time, met MJ, and he didn't try to fuck you, obviously you're ugly as shit. But yeah, I heard autopsies actually came back about MJ, and they said that it was food poisoning that he died from. He was eating 10-year-old nuts. Yeah, I highly prefer Elton John. I think Elton's a much more likable cocksucker. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, I'm in my 30s and I feel old as fuck. My appetite's not what it used to be. Compared to back in the day, my fucking appetite is equivalent to Gandhi's. Well, nobody here follows history. But yeah, I still find it ridiculous, speaking of Gandhi, that the guy who killed him waited till Gandhi was fucking 87 to fucking kill him. I mean, if you kill somebody and they're over 85, you're pretty much just performing euthanasia on them. Speaking of which, isn't it ironic that Dr. Kevorkian died of natural causes? Good, one person got that shit. So anyway, my mother is also a nice Jewish mother, but those of you who see my mom knows that bitch might as well be Muslim. It should be highly illegal for her not to cover most her face in public. She's a nice Jewish mother, but and she does make a much better parent than I would right now, partly because I'm a sick, twisted fuck, but also I'm so fucking broke I couldn't even afford to buy a child a bottle of milk. I would have to substitute it with my dick filled with cum. Yeah, I figured at that age, hey, it's not so bad. I mean, the child's way too young to know it's not milk they're drinking, and they still get their fill of protein for the day. Well, nobody's ever fucked a baby before. I'm the only one. I haven't heard this much silence since my last ejaculation. Mainly because the bitch I was fucking was in a coma. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing. I already pulled the plug. I couldn't risk her waking up and yelling rape. So anyway, going back to the 90s, y'all remember how fucking hard the internet was back then, right?
Please stop farting.
Nowadays, a fucking 12-year-old wants a boner. It's a quick click of a button, and he can get any kind of fucking porn he wants.
Sir, can you move?
Back in like 97, it would take about 25 minutes just to see a fucking tit. And another half an hour for the whole fucking package, and that shit was just for a still picture. Not to mention, at least now when a computer buffers, it's a silent buffer. Not like that really annoying shit back in the 90s when it buffered. Remember the shit that sounded like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings having a fucking seizure? So they say God never gives you more than you can handle, which explains why I'm fucking single. I can't stand these bitches.
Just move,
Half the time
please.
I want to murder my own fucking mother.
Every time you hear, you fart.
Wow, I feel like I'm in a fucking comatose clinic right now. But yeah, looking my mother in the face is about equivalent to feeding a 3-course meal to a bulimia patient.
Just don't fart.
So before I go, I just want to say that speaking of not having much appetite, the other day I was actually in this one town where I passed by a Ethiopian restaurant. It said Ethiopian cuisine. I'm like, Ethiopian cuisine? Isn't that an oxymoron? I'm like, what the fuck do they possibly serve there? A piece of rice on every customer's fucking plate? But yeah, the last thing I'll say about Michael Jackson is at least he was smart enough to bleach his skin before he raped all those kids. Can you imagine if he fucked all those kids while he was still a fucking black man?
Oh!
They wouldn't have even had a trial. They'd be like, man, look at him, that boy's guilty, lock him the fuck up. So before anybody here chases me and tries to stab me, I'm gonna hand the mic back to your host, y'all.
He's a monster, I'll tell you that. He is a monster. I should take a picture of the girl.